August 2022, midnight. I am standing in a very, very small bedroom. It's a student room in a halls of residence in Edinburgh, Scotland. I'm wearing my teeny tiny pajamas because it's the summer, tiny shorts, little crop top. Now the room feels even smaller than normal because there's two other people in this room with me. They are wearing police uniforms. Yes, they are police. I am explaining to them that I have just been burgled. I have just been burgled. Someone has come into my room and stolen an envelope, much like this, containing £600. The first question they ask me is, did you see the thief? I'm like, well, actually no. I was in the shower at the time. Next question. How do you know that someone came into your room and stole the money? And I'm like, well, okay, I was in the shower and I heard really loud footsteps in my room, and then I heard the door slam really loudly. I knew immediately something was up, so I got out the shower, wrapped a towel around me, and I went to see what was going on, and all my stuff was just scattered everywhere. It was a total mess. And the envelope containing the £600 had vanished. Next question. Did you lock the door? I'm like, I thought I did. I thought I locked the door, but I guess clearly I didn't. Then the last question. Why did you have so much money with you? I'm like, I'm so glad you asked. You see, last week I got married. No congratulations from the police. I said, last week I got married, and many of our guests gave us cash as a gift. And the thing is, I live in Luxembourg, where the currency is euros, so we can't really spend that money in Luxembourg. And my husband said to me, Jess, well, you're going to the Edinburgh Fringe to do a show, why don't you take that money with you so you'll have something to eat, to buy food, not eat the money. Not be tasty, quite expensive. And the officers were just like, okay, not impressed at all. What they did say was that there was no CCTV in the corridor of the student halls. They gave me a police number, like a reference number for my files. And they said it was really unlikely that they would catch the perpetrator. So they left. I closed the door and I wedged, my hands were shaking as I wedged a chair under the door handle. And my heartbeat was just, my heart was doing like a Phil Collins drum solo in my chest. And I felt really, yeah, exactly. I never felt so alone or so stupid. And I lay down on that tiny, teeny bed in that tiny, teeny room, knowing I wouldn't sleep. But my mind started to go through things. It started to think about what had led up to this moment. It was, I don't know if you guys remember 2022, August. It was like the hottest summer on record, right? Very, very hot. And the village where I grew up and where I got married was in the news because a combine harvester, it's a kind of a tractor, a combine harvester caught fire spontaneously. We were so proud. We were just like on the front page of many newspapers. I was like, that's where I'm from! We're on fire! The whole world was on fire. And in the middle of this, I was just like a human tornado. I was preparing a wedding. I was writing a show for the Edinburgh Fringe. I was doing a master's. I had quit my job. I was doing another part-time job. I was just running on fumes, basically. So anyway, the next morning I get up in the morning because my comedy show is in the morning at 11 o'clock. It turns out in Edinburgh people will see comedy at any time of the day because they're drunk all the time. Yeah, woo, cheers to that, yeah. And you know what, despite what happened the night before, it was amazing! We had to turn people away because there were so many people wanting to come. The audiences laughed in all the right places. And at the end, they actually gave us cash. And I was like, well, at this rate, I'm going to make back that £600. So then I went back to the student dorm. And by the way, I was doing this show with a really great friend of mine called Sharon. She's a really great inspiration, very funny comedian. We were both staying in the same halls of residence. And we both went back together. And I went back to my room and I locked the door, obviously this time, and I lay down. I was desperate for sleep. Closed my eyes. And then I hear just a gentle, and I'm like, oh, it's probably Sharon just checking up on me. Fuck it. She'll know that I'm having a nap, so I just ignore it and I close my eyes. And then I hear the gentle the sound of someone pushing my door open. I leap out of the bed to go and see what the heck, who's coming into my room that I've locked. It's Sharon. It's Sharon. Someone I know. I say, Sharon, how did you get in? She's like, well, I just pushed the door. And I was like, wait, what? But the door was meant to be locked. And she's like, well, it wasn't locked. And that's when I realised the lock on my door was faulty. The lock on my door didn't work. No wonder I'd been burgled. Somebody in that building knew the lock on my door was broken. So I stormed down to the building manager's office. I was like, I demand a new room. Basically, with all the Karen energy I could muster. And honestly, it was like amazing. For about 10 minutes, I felt less the victim and more the villain in this story. And you know what? They gave me an upgrade. Yes, they put me in a room with a cupboard. So I packed all my things away. I took my bag to the new room. I unpacked, started putting things into my cupboard like a Tetris. And my hand goes into the bag and it scoops up something papery and white, a lot like the envelope containing the cash. In fact, exactly like the envelope containing the cash. The cash was in there. Now I'm going to wrap this up, Ben. He's flashed me. At this point I rang my sister because my sister is annoying, but she usually knows what to do in a crisis. And she said, Jess, you've got to tell the police you found the money. Otherwise, this will be known forevermore as an unsolved crime. And I was like, yeah, you're right, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it because basically I'd been so stressed and overwhelmed that I had invented a burglary. I blamed someone else and I was too ashamed to tell anyone else besides my sister and you. So in this envelope is a letter that I might send to the police. I don't know, we'll see. But my message to you guys is just be careful. Be careful of the chaos you're carrying around with you. And don't overwhelm yourselves because, one day that might lead to you imagining that you've been burgled or worse. Thank you so much. Good night.